Up to now, our programs forget everything when they stop. Today, we're going to fix that. In this lesson, you learn how to save a data to a file, read it back, and store structured data using CSV. And we'll use variables, if statement, loops, and functions together like real developers. So if you've not watched my videos on these topics, you have to go back and watch it so you get a clearer picture of what we're doing. So first, why do files matter? Well, when you save something on your computer, notes, scores, usernames, that's file handling. Programs use files to store results, keep records, and share data. Today we'll build a simple learning record system. So we're going to start by writing to a text file. We start by saving a user info like we did on day one. So remember what we did, we created variables. We're going to create a variable in John, variable name, and we're going to save John as the variable age 25 is learning true. So remember what we did on day 3, we wrote functions. So we're going to run a function quick. Def format record, then we're going to pass in name, age is learning, and we're going to we're going to return f string. My name is let's put this as name. I am gonna pass the age, learning, coding equals, I'm gonna pass the is learning here. Okay, so this, what we essentially did is we're writing down the variables and we're using this function to return these variables. So let's see about writing it to a file. So if we want to save the output of this to a file, this is where file handling comes in place. So we're going to I'm going to first create a variable name called file, and this is going to be used to refer to the file later in your code. You can also name it my document, whatever, but it's best to remember for conventional naming. Name it something that is easy for you to recognize and remember. So after this, we're going to do this. Open student.txt w, and I'm going to explain all of this, but just write it with me. File dot write format record name age is learning. Then we're going to do file dot close. Save it, Ctrl S. So this open, it's a built-in function that tells Python to look for a file. So when I do open, it means we're looking for a student.txt file. That's what this open is doing. So if this file name doesn't exist, Python will create it. And then this w stands for write mode. So in write mode now, if the file already exists, Python will still erase everything inside it the moment you run this line, and to start with a blank slate. So if you wanted to add to the end of a file without deleting the old stuff, you would use A for append, but we're going to be using Y now. So this file.write format record name age is learning. This file.write tells Python take the text inside this parenthesis and shove it into the file we opened. Then this format record looks for a custom function that is likely defined anywhere else in your code. Example, this is it. Then it takes the 3 pieces of raw data, name, age, is learning, and turns them into a single string of text. So the file close is what you use to close the file, and it tells the computer to save all the changes and release the file. So if you forget this, you might open student.txt later and find that it's empty. So that's what these lines of code do. So let's run this. Yes, I think I already saved it before. Let's run it. Running this code now, this student.txt should be created here, and to contain my name is John, I am 25, learning coding true. That's what it should contain. So let's run it. Remember, Python main.py or whatever you named your py, and you can see it. Student.txt is here. So let's open it. My name is John, I am 25, learning coding equals true. So it actually worked. So let's read. Let's say we want to read. There's another function we can use, not like a function actually. This is what you can use if you want to read something from a distant file. So the stored data will become a string. So let's run this and see what will happen. Oh, do you know what happened? We forgot to change this. Now in Python now, file.write does not work with arrow reading. You cannot read while using the write command. For reading, we'll have to use this. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to delete this line of code, and we're going to create a variable called content, and we're going to save this in it, file.read. This is what is going to help us read the file. Then we're going to print the content that we've read. So let's run it again. And wow, that's it. My name is John, I'm 25, learning coding equals true. So what this did was it went here to read what was inside here and it gave us the output here. So now our programs can remember information. Now that is awesome. So what if we use if statements with file data and make our programs think? Let's do something like this. Let's say if true, the true is going to be in, let's do this, if true in content, let's say print let's say print this is this student this student is let's say serious about learning Python. Okay, sounds good. Let's put a full stop here. Remember, else, semicolon, print, encourage the student to stay consistent. Now this is, remember what we did about if and else statements. Okay, so we're going to save this and run the code. And look what it showed. This student is serious about learning Python. So it printed this. And why do you think it printed this? Because this code was asking to check if true is in content. Notice how we put the commas here. It means that we're taking true as a string and not a boolean. Remember when we said true is a boolean and false is also a boolean, but here we're checking for the text true, and if you check in student.txt, there is a text named true. So we're checking if we have this, and since we have it, this was printed. This is amazing because you can see how we can make the program think for us. This is like the bedrock of AI and everything. So what we're going to be doing next is let's write. And by the way, we wrote about 17 lines of code that you can understand. And that means that you're becoming a developer. That's cool. So let's write multiple records with a loop. So instead of one student, let's store like maybe 3 students. So create a variable called students. I'm going to create a list. I'm going to be talking about lists very soon. I'm gonna create string named Ada, Sam, Musa, and I think that's all. So we're going to open students.txt, not students, it's students because it's students here, and we're going to write a for loop exactly for students and students. Then we're going to do file.write f hello student n. Okay, now we're going to do file close. So I'm going to explain what we just wrote here now. First, we created a list. This is a list. This is bracket. It signifies that this is a list. So inside it, there are 3 strings: Ada, Sam, and Musa. They are separated by commas. You know, if you noticed it. As we learned before, this creates or clears a file called student.txt because of this W. So this will clear everything here automatically. So this variable name is our open door to that document, this variable file. So now we did a for loop. This is the engine of this code now. This tells Python that I want to go through the students list one by one. This is just a placeholder variable. You can write anything here. You can write from anything. You can write for being in students, for being in rice, write anything here, but remember our conventional naming. Later now you can come and you'll be confused about this code. So it's best you name it something you remember what it does for student and students. So the first time the loop goes through students, it says other, it says some. Let's name this students. Let's name this students.txt. Second time it will loop through it to see Sam, and to loop through it to see Musa. So this f string now is the most modern way to mix variables in text. So this curly braces tell Python, don't write the literal word students. Instead, look for the variable students and put its correct value here. So this is a new line. Without this, the file will be gumming together to be hello Ada, hello Sam, or to be conjoined. So with this, each name gets its own line. I'll show you how it looks. I'll remove this later on to show you. So this file close now is outside the loop. That's why it's not indented. So this is important. It has to wait until the loop has finished, then to close the file. So let's save this and run it. And you can see we have a students.txt. And if we go inside now, you can see hello Ada, hello Sam, hello Musa. So imagine we take this out. Let's see what we'll have. You see, they're all in the same line and they're all joined together. So that's why we use this new line. So now we're going to talk about CSV files. You must have heard about CSV files before. They store table-like data used in real projects. So let me write a simple code and I'll explain it after I've written it. So let's just write this together. First, we're going to import CSV. Remember when we talked about imports, we need tools from CSV. So we're going to import CSV, create a variable named data, put it in a list. No, we'll talk about lists. We'll talk about this topic on its own. List. Then inside, I'm going to put another, let's say name. Let's say age, but we're going to change the city to learning. Then we're going to write John. Let's say John. Let's say 25 here. And let's say true. And let's say Adam. Not Adam. Adam. Age will be 22. And this will be true as well. True as a string. So I'm going to write with open. Then let's say students.csv. Okay, this is correct. Just write this. Write this down. So I'm going to explain what this does. Import CSV, is a module which contains special instructions how to handle the commands close, basically all the rules in CSV. Then this is a list inside a list. Remember, I said I'll talk about list extensively in its own topic, but this is just a nested list. There's a list made inside a list. So the outer list is the whole spreadsheet. The inner list is the row, one row. So the first list, name, age, learning, acts as your column tiles, your column titles. So with open student.csv w new line as far, so we changed. Remember, we just noticed before it was txt, but now it's csv. We changed the file extension. Computer use this to know that Excel should probably open this. Then this new line is very important because in CSV mode, some computers, especially Windows, Python might try to add an extra blank line between every row. So setting this tells Python don't add any extra empty rows. Let the CSV module handle the spacing. So right now, this is, think of it as hiring a specialized secretary. You hand the secretary the writer, your open file, and the secretary knows exactly where the commas and quotes needs to go to, so the Excel can read it perfectly. So that's what this does. It helps in the formatting. Then this, remember, just notice, do you notice the S here? This is a bulk action command because it tells the writer take the entire list and turn every inner list into a row in the file all at once. So let's run this. So I'm just going to summarize this. CSV has rows and columns and is used in data analysis, and this opens and closes the file automatically. So let's save this. Let's see what it shows us. And look, there's a students.csv file now. And look, name, age, learning, John 25 true, Ada 22 true. This is how it will be stored in Microsoft Excel in rows and columns. So this is, let's combine everything together. Let's combine our variable functions, the loops, and file storage. Let's just do a mini project together to just catch up. So remember, let's import, oh sorry, I almost wrote the code in students.csv. Don't make this mistake, guys. You have to write it in a py, main.py. So import CSV. Let's save student name. Let's say name, age is learning. Okay. Let's say width. Okay, I think this code is okay. We're gonna change this to records. Let's name it records.csv. Then let's put this as file. So I'm going to change this to file, and yeah, just copy this code down. I'm going to explain all of this in a while after writing. So outside the function, we created a variable called students, and let's say John. Let's say John 25 true. And let's say Ada. Let's change this to Ada. Let's say Ada 22 true. So let's say 22 true. Then let's say Musa. Yeah, such a cool name, Musa. 30 falls. Okay. And let's close this list. Let's write a for loop for students and students. Remember the for loops. So let's save. Okay, it's correct. Save students 0, 1, 2. This is how real systems actually store their data. Like, this is the real deal. So save it first, Ctrl S. So if I'll go up here again, import CSV, remember what we talked about. This is what we're using to bring in the tools needed to handle the spreadsheet style formatting. So this is a function we wrote and defined with the parameters name, age, is learning. So when we call the function later, we'll actually pass real data into these 3 slots. So with open records CSV, a new line as file. Remember what we said, A is the append mode. So instead of wiping everything clean with the W, we use A to append, to add. So it will tell us to add new data there to at the bottom. It helps our database to grow over time. So writer.csv file, writer is, notice how there's no S in the registering in the right row. Since this function is designed to handle 1 student at a time, that's why we use a singular version W. The name, age, is learning. These are our 3 variables that we wrap in squared brackets to turn them into a single list. So the writer knows how to lay out the columns. Then this is the data source. These are tuples. These are still part of things we'll learn later along with lists. That's why we use parentheses. So they're like lists, but they cannot be changed. Once you put something in there, it's going to be like that. You cannot change it. They're perfect for like fixed records, maybe like a student profile. So this is a for loop, and this is what we call indexing. In Python, counting starts from 0, so you don't count 1, 2, 3. You count from 0. That's why this is 0, 1, 2. So this means that the loop will run 3 times, calling your save student function each time. So that means this function will be called 3 times to loop through these 3 tuples inside this list. So let's run this and see what happens. Okay, see we have a records.csv now, and we can see everything is there. You can see everything is here. So now you know how you know how you can remember, how programs actually remember information. This is actually a huge step towards real software and Telegram bots. So I think you need to practice this. You might not get it the first time, you might not get it the second time, but keep practicing and keep watching the video. And it took us like 7 watches. Like, we watched the video 7 times before we understood, and we also practiced it. That's why we understood it. So you can do it that way as well, and it will be very, very easy for you to comprehend. All these things it becomes easier the more time you view it. Do not run away from it. Do not feel intimidated. Make the mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning and coding. The best programmers make the biggest mistakes. So yeah, we're going to see you in the next video. Just like, subscribe. We're going to be taking you step by step to level up.